Hi, and welcome to week 13, English 1302. We are wrapping up the outline for your R3 assignment, which is due on tonight, Monday, April 13th, before 11:55 p.m. And we're moving on to the final draft, which I believe is due Sunday, April 19th. A couple of things to kind of keep in mind. First of all, really narrow the focus of your research. You really don't want to be writing about all universities or all colleges or all community colleges. You really want to narrow the focus. In class, we had a really good discussion about the career path for college presidents. And I pointed out, well, that's a great place to start, but it's too broad. You're going to want to, because you've only got 4 pages to fully explain everything there is about this subject. So you want to really focus in on just one specific aspect. So the student said, well, how about just um, the career path? That is, how do you get to become the president of Yale University? Fantastic. And she went back and looked at 3 different college presidents, the last 3. I think she looked at a lot more, but in her paper, she's going to develop just the last 3 college presidents. And what she noticed was, she stopped by and talked, and what she noticed was that all of these last 3 presidents uh, have graduated Yale, and they've all been involved somehow in politics, politicians, or some other aspect of politics, and they've all been rich. So I pointed out to her, okay, look at just one of those. Look at what you think is probably a determining characteristic, a defining characteristic, and be sure to put that in your conclusion. But don't put it in just your conclusion. This is not a mystery novel we're writing here. This is a research paper. So, from all of the facts that she found from doing her research, she drew one dominant conclusion that every president of Yale for the last 20 years has been a graduate of Yale. And I suspect if she went back further than that, I think you'd find that most of them have been. But so she put that in her thesis that the career path for becoming president of Yale University is first and foremost to be a graduate of Yale University. So, yeah, something like that. You want your paragraphs to make sense to support the main idea, and the main idea basically comes from the conclusion, from all the evidence, the research that you've done, and it all fits nice and neatly together. Let's see what else about the paper itself. Of course, be sure to read the assignment sheet carefully, and yeah, if you have any questions, of course, you can discuss pretty much anything to do with higher education in America. I would include that phrase in my thesis, by the way, since that's the topic. Just like the R2 project we did, remember with the short story, we included the author's name and the title of the short story and made a point about it. Well, same thing here. You want to include higher education or American higher education or higher education in the U.S. Is interesting because of whatever you're talking about. However, remember, we're not doing anything with cost of college or financial aid in college or athletics. Now, I've had a couple of people talk to me about a specific type of or subset of athletics, and that's okay. But be sure to check with me if you're dealing with anything, even tangential to those topics. You don't want to get a 0 for being off topic. So it's always easier to ask first than get permission later because, yeah, that doesn't work in college writing. Please be sure that you're choosing your sources wisely. They need to all have an author. They need to be timely. That means recently published within the last 5, maybe 10 years. Um, they need to have some depth to them, like a book or a journal article. Journal articles tend to run 15 to 50 pages, so that's some pretty good depth there. And of course, they need to have citations, which can either be your source has been cited by another publication, or your source has cited another publication. Okay? That just means it has done research or they have done research using your source. But anyway, make sure it meets all 4 of those criteria if you want to get full credit on that one. And if you have any questions at all, please let me know. This week, also in class, we are talking about, I bet we're on to, Emily Dickinson. We finished Emily Dickinson. Gosh, we never have enough time for her. But we're spending the last 2 weeks on William Wordsworth. whom I think you'll like him. He's At the time, he was a non traditional poet because he moved poetry from a focus on epic heroes and grand adventures and Gilgamesh type stuff. He moved it from that to a simple reflection of emotions and how the speaker feels and how feelings are stirred up by different things. And so, especially nature and beauty and stuff like that, called the Romantics. He was one of them, and him and what's the other guy? Anyway, he was part of a small group who moved poetry from one focus to another focus, but to us it seems very traditional because it's been around for a long time. But anyway, we're doing two poems tonight: London 1802, The World Is Too Much With Us. For next week, we'll do Nuns Fret Not and I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. Your third quiz will be next week, so it's going to be Thursday, April the 23rd, and then your final exam, Monday, it says here May the 8th. I think that's Monday, May the 4th. I was probably looking at an old calendar or a bad calendar. And so, yeah, Monday is the 4th, Monday, May the 4th. The test will be open all day. Of course, you're welcome to come in and take it in person. And I will post a whole separate video and a set of instructions specifically on that topic. If you have any questions at all, drop me an email at jfly@southplains college.edu. It's been a Monday all day. All right. Have fun.